What's up guys, MikeCoco back here bringing you guys a Hiruk first impressions video, and I apologize first for the lack of uploads because of my internet. It's super bad right now. I'm getting like a 1 megabit download, which is like 200 kilobytes download if you convert it, which is just like, it's like equivalent to dial-up. I load YouTube videos like 360p and DCs every once in a while, or more frequent actually, like every 20 minutes or so. So I apologize for my guilt for watching this. But instead of me ranting about my internet, we'll take a look at Hiruk, and he's actually quite interesting. He's our first Fury Thief since like forever. The last Fury Thief I think was in season 3. That was Nikki, and she's a multi-target. And I'm 99% sure Hiruk is a single-target Fury Thief, which means he draws more Fury if he hits one target compared to hitting multiple targets. So it's a bit easier to use, and I'm pretty sure he'll be a necessity in pretty much every formation, because you'll need a Fury Thief in every formation. And because he's a single target, he'll gain more Fury compared to a multi-target, for example, Nikki or Herald. So right off the bat, I thought he was a polar bear at first, but apparently he's a sea otter. So yeah, and he has a freaking runny nose. So based on his 3-star stats rather, his stats are not terrible. They're pretty decent. For a Fury Thief, it's actually really good because, like Jarkan, who you should be replacing, or Sarg, they're all single target Fury Thieves, but they're of season 1. And Hiruk is also similar to Jarkan because he's a cannon user. And if we take a look at Jarkan's stats as 6-star, mind you, this is S1. He has 1,500 agility, and Hiruk at season 3, or rank 3 rather, already almost doubles that. So quite a bit of more damage. Don't rely on him as a damage dealer because he is a cannon user, and what that means that it means that he'll hit 1,000 sometimes and maybe like 30-40k sometimes. So the damage range is really wide. So don't rely on him as a damage dealer. If you want a consistent damage dealer, you're better off using Christine. So just based off of this, he's fantastic for a Fury Thief. As a main role for Fury Thief and a secondary role as a damage dealer, he fits quite nicely. So we'll pick him up right now. Hopefully we can get him at 5-star or something. I'm gonna do a 11 higher. We'll move someone into the lodge if I have space. Oh, I don't have space. Okay, so I have one guy sent to the mailbox, but that should be fine. Stats aren't fantastic compared to 5-star, which I should show you guys. Let's see, 5-star. 5-star stats, so 3.2k. So at 5-star, he's literally Jarkan except on steroids. His stats at least. So yeah. And we'll just have to fodder him back up to rank like 5 or whatever. I can't fuse anymore. I can't hire any more heroes because that's pretty dumb actually. We'll just fuse some randos. Okay, I guess that's worth it. So yeah, I'll get him to rank, or level 50 rather, and I'll show you guys some gameplay. He should not be too difficult to use because he's a Fury Thief, you know. Every team needs a Fury Thief. So yeah, there we go. And I'll be back with level 50 gameplay. Peace. What's up guys, MikeCoco back with the level 50 Hiruk testing, and it seems that I was wrong, and Hiruk may not actually be a single target Fury Thief. We're gonna do some testing right now. Jarkan's got this stuff. It doesn't really matter what weapons he's using. It just I want to show you guys in case you guys think the damage might affect the Fury draw, but I don't think it does. So we'll do a bit of testing, and right now I'm not sure based on just like viewing auto runs. It seems the Hiruk is doing cross damage, but I'm not 100% sure. So we're gonna test that, because right now it seems kind of weird because Hiruk is not drawing the same amount of Fury as Jarkan would. So basically what happens, what typically happens is that when you use Jarkan and you set him to go last in the turn, he can typically steal around 500 Fury, and I've tried that same method with Hiruk, and he's not stealing 500. So that makes me think that he might be a multi-target Fury Thief rather than a single target, as what I previously thought. So we're just gonna do random attacks. We'll get Jarkan to go last, and I think he should be able to steal 500. Okay, so we're gonna steal now. He should steal 500. We should be up to 689. Yeah, so that's 500, and that's single target Fury Thief. So we're gonna try that same thing with Hiruk. Preferably after this turn, because I think we might be able to. We'll have to use up all the Fury first. So yeah, we'll just use up all the Fury. And do a bit of healing. Okay, so we'll try this after, and we'll see how much Hiruk can steal. I'm fairly certain he's not going to steal 500, which makes me lead to believe that he is a multi-target. So that means he can't really replace Jarkan right now, because Jarkan at his finest will steal 500, and that is just simply not possible with Hiruk. Okay, so we're gonna test on this guy. I think he does row damage, not column actually, but we'll see. So 895, we should 895. That was, yeah. So that was, as you can see, there's fire. There's a fire dot on Archer and Heart of Shadow, which means that his attack did. His skill was in a cross formation, not a column or row, as the skill indicates. I think the skill indicates that it's a column or row. I'm not sure, but it's not. And as you saw there, we were able to gain more than 500 Fury, and that's because we hit a multi-target. So that means Hiruk is a multi-target Fury Thief. Because single target Fury Thief's maximum draw is 500 from a single target, and because we hit multiple targets there because of a cross formation, it means that how much did we actually get? We went from 895 to 1500, so that's roughly 600 Fury or so, 605 if my math is correct, which means that 605 is not. It's physically not possible. It's impossible for a single target Fury Thief to gain 605 Fury. So that must mean that Hiruk is a multi-target, not a single target as I previously thought. So this puts him in a weird position, because if you don't have Nikki already, he's pretty fantastic because he steals a lot of Fury, and because he steals in a cross, which is kind of awkward, it might affect some other stuff. So well, we're going to try that again. We're going to see how much Fury he can actually steal. We're just going to use up a bunch of moves. We'll just stun. His damage is quite nice, depending on whether you hit the upper range or the lower range. Sometimes with a crit, Christine's guaranteed crit, he'll hit as low as like 20k or like maybe 15k. But if he hits his upper range, he can hit as high as 70k, and that's only at rank 3. And that's with an SS, no massive, what's it called? No massive, I forgot what I was gonna say. No massive inscription. So we're gonna steal now, see how much we can get. I believe it's in a cross, so that means Mouth of Shadow should die. Yeah, exact. So how much did we go from? I think we went from, was it 900 to 1136? We're gonna try that again. Hopefully we can waste some Fury. Oh shoot. Because I just want to see how much Fury he can steal. So this is from single target. We're just going to do a bit more. Because typically we want the enemy to have as much Fury as possible, so then we can steal as much of it as possible. Okay, so we're going to try stealing now. We're at 593. We dropped down to 393, so we'll see how much we can pick up. That's roughly 300 Fury from a single target. So roughly half of what Jarkan can do at his best. So what this means is that if you don't have Nikki already, then Hiruk is pretty much a lifesaver, because in those multi-target situations, you can use Hiruk and steal a lot of Fury. As you saw before, we stole 600 Fury, far more than a single target could ever steal from one target. The problem is when you have a bunch of these multi-target Fury Thieves, for example, Nikki and Hiruk, because typically what Nikki does is Nikki will, depending on the enemy, Nikki will clear the row, and even if she doesn't clear the row, she's already stolen a lot of Fury from a from an entire row. So that means the enemy typically doesn't have enough Fury left. So typically I recommend using 2 Fury Thieves maximum, because 3 simply just becomes the point where you don't steal enough to have the additional. It's not worth the space for adding a Fury Thief, because you simply just don't steal enough Fury, because you already have 2 stealing maximum. Especially if you set up your formation correctly and your initiatives, so that your multi-target hits the multi-target and your single targets hit the single targets, and you gain your maximum Fury, and you can't gain any else, because your enemy has no more Fury. So what this means, to summarize, Hiruk cannot replace Jarkan, because he is a multi-target Fury Thief. So depending on how your formation is set up, he will work very well. So if you need a Fury Thief, a multi-target one, I highly recommend getting Hiruk, because Cross might actually be useful depending on cases where you might not have enough enemies in a row for Nikki to clear, or for like Herald or whatever. But otherwise, Hiruk is he's he's very weird, but I still recommend getting him, because for Infinity Wars you need Fury Thieves in each lane. If you don't have a Fury Thief, then you're pretty much gone, because you can't use any skills. So I would still recommend getting Hiruk, but I would not place him in your main formation if you already have 2 Fury Thieves. So that's just my final recommendation. But otherwise, damage is pretty good. It's unreliable, but it's pretty decent. And other than that, there's not much to say. He's a Fury Thief. Does damage in a cross, not a column, as it says here. It says in a column here. It's not a column, it is a cross. And the fire dot is not too useful. It's similar to Christine's. After event, it won't be much of much help. But right now, it's pretty useful. And his damage is roughly similar to Poki's. Very large damage range. So that's pretty much it for Hiruk. Get him if you don't have a Fury Thief already, or like a good solid Fury Thief. Otherwise, you know what? I still recommend getting Hiruk, because he's a fantastic hero. Fury Thieves are a must-have in any formation. So that's it, guys. Peace.